Good morning, traders. How are you doing today? Today is November 14th, 2025. It's 7:29 my time. Market opens in less than 1 minute, and QQQ is still selling off. The overall markets are still selling off, so that is crazy to see. As you can see here, we are coming up on somewhat of a support level right around 598, 599, 600. So we'll see if we drop below 600, or are we going to continue to sell off even more. So this is a critical area for sure, and we're going to find out today, hey, are we going to sell off more, or are we going to begin to recover? I have my alert set for either way. We're going to bring this down a little bit here, but overall market is selling off. I want you guys to be aware of that. And welcome to our Learn to Earn live stream, available only to those in the Discord. Hope you guys are all having a great start to your Friday morning. Let's see if NASDAQ begins to recover. Here we go, 600 market is now officially open. If it does begin to show signs of a recovery, that would be great. Doesn't mean it has to. Let's try to stay patient. We'll see what happens. Just because we think the markets will recover doesn't mean they will. The markets are irrational right now. When the government was shut down, markets went up, and now the government shutdown is over and the markets are selling off. So it's very irrational market. For anyone who doesn't know, who's it? Michael Berry is closing his firm from The Big Short, because he also says that the markets are just unpredictable. Michael Berry from Scion Capital will be closing his hedge fund. He says, my estimation of value in securities is not now and has not been for some time in sync with the market. They're going to liquidate Scion Asset Management, and he will no longer be doing that anymore. It's crazy. Just trying to find the quote. I guess it doesn't matter. I could always make a video about it later. There we go. Markets are beginning to sell off more. If you believe the markets can continue to sell off, then SQQQ would be your play. This is a triple leveraged inverse ETF, which means the market goes down 1%. This will go up 3%. And as you can see here, it broke that moving average here where it was being held for quite some time around 1386. Pushed up yesterday 6%, and now pushing up an additional 5% for a total of 11% up from yesterday. As the market sells off, this will continue to push up. Now, if the market begins to recover, then we can very easily see this go up, which means TQQQ would be the play. It's cheaper than QQQ. You're not having to pay $500 or $600, and it's triple leveraged as well. So when the market does recover, 1%, 2%, 3%, we can easily see 3%, 6%, 10, 12% if the market does recover. Again, if the market recovers even 1%, you can see a beautiful 3% from TQQQ, and it's a little cheaper. Doesn't mean the market has to recover as it continues to sell off, trying to hold at these levels here, but again, getting rejected from that moving average. Open is pushing up today very aggressively. It is holding up. This is holding well compared to other stocks. A lot of stocks are down 5%, 3% for the last few days. I mean, every day they're down 3, 4, 5%. Open seems to be holding very well, bouncing off of this moving average. I don't like to hold it long term, but it has been doing very well by holding its own share price, stock price. VIX also is at a 22, which isn't great. If it's over 20, we will get more selling pressure and there's a lot more volatility in the market. Every time it goes above 20, the markets sell off. I want you guys to know that. This isn't the first time the market sold off. It's been aggressively selling off from those highs of 638, now down to 598, which means it's lost actually 6.5%. 6.5%. Here we go, a nice recovery from QQQ back up to 600. We'll see what happens if this continues. Sound losing a lot of momentum yesterday as we did trade this, we did hold and ended up selling down at this level, and now it looks like it is beginning to recover. It is Friday, so there's no point in, going against your trade plan. There's no point in going too heavy in this market. All right. What the heck? My phone doesn't want to let me in because of my glasses. That's stupid. There we go. QQQ back to 600. Could be short-lived. We could see more selling pressure, or we could see a nice recovery. Hood pushing up from 112 to 118. A beautiful move by Hood. Gonna be patient today. No point in forcing a trade if we do not have to. We are being patient here. Markets can continue to sell off. They can continue to push up. Open pushing from that 770, and this is what we like to see too. A push above moving average, come back down to retest and validate it as a support, and then continue to push higher, making higher highs. But this right here is a great indication that the bullish sentiment was in favor after that crossover. We can see many times that it can cross over very easily, like you see here. It can cross over and get rejected. It can come back to retest and then completely get rejected on that retest and get below that moving average, forcing it down even lower. Even something like this, right? It didn't validate support here. It continued to sell off, kind of flatlined right there, a lot of consolidation. And then this morning, again, it did a great job validating that moving average. Pushed up, came down, retested it right here above that green line, the 200-day moving average, validated support, and then skyrocketed up. And now continuing to push. Now, open door technology potentially could go higher. We're going to see if we can buy some shares at market. Yeah, see, I don't want to do that. I don't want to waste an unsettled trade on it. Plus, on the 5-minute, it's actually getting rejected right off of that moving average. So sometimes if you're in doubt with a specific trade, zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out. So again, on the 5-minute time frame, and when it validates the moving average, it'll validate and push up. When it's below the moving average, it validates it as a resistance and it will continue to sell off. And it looks like it is somewhat validating right here. We'll see if it holds. If it does hold, this could push up to $9 maybe, or it could sell off and we can get more selling pressure. It's been very bullish for the last 2 or 3 days until yesterday began selling off. So QQQ, again, trying to validate that 45 EMA. We'll see if we get a nice sharp push. It looks like we are going to get a nice push up. Same thing with sound. If we can get above this moving average, it'll begin to push up. But it has had some difficulty over the last few days, if not for the last week, from touching those highs of $15. Began its descent on the 10th, the 11th, the 12th is where I traded it. Right here, it had a lot of validation in this area and then just completely sold off. Same thing yesterday, sold off. Now, is it going to sell off some more? Yes, it possibly can if it stays below this moving average. It's great to see it back up to almost 12, but that doesn't mean much if it can go down back to 11, 10, 9, stuff like that. So looks like it's pushing with the market. If the market continues to push, then this will continue to go up as well. No real news on open. And there we go. We're going to get some selling pressure here. Do me a favor, guys. Smash that like button for me. There we go. More selling pressure here. And we're just being patient. We're watching the market. On the 5-minute, it looks like it's trying to hold above the 45 EMA. And again, as you can see, it's been struggling to get above it and hold. It's acting as a resistance, continuing to push it down further. This is the first time in probably almost, a week that it's above this area and actually rising, right? It's been kind of fluctuating in between that moving average for quite some time as it has a nice downward ascent. Now it is above it for the first time, so we're going to see what happens here. It is holding from lows of 597 to now highs of 602.50. The markets are very irrational right now, for sure. Talking about a liquidity crisis. Bitcoin is at an all-time low. The housing market is beginning to crash. There's a lot going on. I mean, Bitcoin is now at $94,000. Looking on the daily chart, you can see it is below that moving average, as you know it has before. It can happen where it pumps up to 110, sells all the way off to 73. What's the sell-off potential on Bitcoin there, right? Well, that sell-off was 32%. So if we move this over, we're pretty much right there from all-time highs. That's 32%. We're at 25% sell-off from new all-time highs. So it does have a pattern of its own as well. We can see this come down to 90. We could even see it come back down to 70,000 before it begins to rally again. VIX, look how high VIX is. 23. That is extremely high. A lot of volatility in the market. NASDAQ market is only down 1% now from yesterday's close. Everything else is red though. Look, as you can see here on the side, everything's down 1%, 2%, 3%, 2%. And that has been the theme for the overall market in the last week. Lunar pushing up very nicely from lows of $8.30 to now $9. We can see a very nice rally from this level, as it's been at this level before, right? So this is something that I would not mind getting in on. Buying at 9, selling at 13, 10, 11, 12, 13 could be a nice potential, as it has again bounced off of this level before. $8 used to be a common resistance level for quite some time. Lunar is hitting my alert at being up 5%. So actually we're gonna go ahead and buy some shares of this to hold over the weekend. I like the area where to buy. There is far less risk involved to upside. So if you look here, buying where I just bought, if it goes back down to support, it's about a 9%. I doubt I'd hold it that long if it did go that low. But if it can push up to previous highs, we're looking at a 45% profit here. So not bad. That'd be like a 1 for 4 risk to reward. And again, I wouldn't necessarily hold it all the way down here. If it begins to lose momentum, comes down to 889, you know, I'm risking maybe 3% to potentially make, you know, 45%. So that's a huge move for this in general as well. Lunar, keep getting alerted. What else is going off? I think QQQ, yeah, QQQ is hitting my alerts here. That's 603.50. So let's go ahead and raise that to 605. We'll bring up this alert. If it drops below 600, we'll be notified of that as well. And let's see what else. TQQQ pushing up 5% now from the lows. Open, very nice. We were just talking about open at 840 levels. Little dip with a nice push up. That could have been some great opportunity to buy there as well, as it is above that moving average. Sound pushing up as well, hitting our alerts at 1220s. You know, when people are fearful, you buy, and when people are greedy, you sell. And that's the whole strategy of buying low and selling high. Buying at $11, even $12 on Sound this morning could have resulted in a nice, you know, anywhere from 5 to a 10% profit It crossed over this moving average very easily. It confirmed it and validated it. 45 EMA crossed over the 200 EMA, and even buying at 1150 to 1230 now, that was a 6.5% profit. So very, very nice indeed. We're going to go ahead and move our alert as well from 11 back up to about 1193, 1194. If it comes below this level, we'll get alerted, and if it goes above 1250, we'll also be alerted for that more upward momentum. So this is good for a Friday. After the markets are selling off pretty much all week, we get a nice rally on Friday. Usually it's the other way around. Markets will rally and we'll get a huge red day on Friday. So very different how they flipped it this week, but nonetheless, that's what happens sometimes. Let's see where we are as far as our trade. All right. So it does not pay to be rational in the market. We're just being patient. TQQQ, as you can see here, pushing from 98 to 102. 3.5% profit, or $3.50 per share. So if you bought one share, you'd make $3.50. If you bought 100 shares, you'd make about $350. Very nice reversal setting up here for the overall market. Got to respect the trend regardless of what I want or what I think. We have to be patient and make sure we manage our risk well. Open again, pushing up very nicely, still continuing to push up. Could potentially see $9 today, even $9.50 today from open. Sound at 1230, very nice. That's where it was at yesterday. So back to yesterday's range. LUNR. Let's see if it can pass that 918 resistance that it had from pre-market. As we did take a few shares this morning, nothing crazy, just to get us a nice starter position. Again, this is just the beginning. If it does begin to push up even to 11, that's $2 per share. If it goes up to 13, that is $4 per share. So be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, very nice trade on LUNR. Sound, SoFi, all great opportunities to make some cash today. Open, and here we go. Here comes the reversal. We'll see what happens. On the 5-minute, can we get above this 200 moving average? That will be the big question. Can we get above 605.98? If we can, we'll see some more upward momentum. If it gets rejected, we'll see some more selling pressure. Could also just trade within this range for the majority of the day as well. Again, it is Friday. Trying so hard to hold at these levels. Right back up to pre-market lows. See that? Trust me, you know I want to make more trades. I want to be more aggressive, but it's going to pay to be more patient than to be too quick to trade. This thing could reverse very easily. Bye, honey. Love you. Have a good day. Love you too. Here we go. See if it gets rejected here. There we go. LUNR pushing up still. Nice little trade. 1.5% so far, almost 2% on LUNR. Nothing too crazy. I didn't buy very many shares. QQQ continuing to push, which will continue to bring everything else up with it. Open Door Technology announced its biggest pivot yet, moving from home flipping to artificial intelligence. The company's bold transformation could redefine its future, but investors need to know whether it's substance or story before buying. You know, days like this can really piss people off. It's very volatile. One minute it's selling off, the next minute it's pushing up even higher. Look at SQQQ, giving all of that back from today. We were just talking about potentially buying into TQQQ as well at 98, 99, 100. TQQQ is now up 4%. 4% is substantial. On $1,000, that's 40 bucks, right? 4%. 2,000, that's $80. 10,000, that's $400 on a 4% trade. SPY pushing. Here we go. 605. See if it's going to get rejected off of this level or if it's going to continue to push up. Lunar pushing up. Sound still hovering at 1230. Not really making any significant move up from those 1230 levels. Here we go. Let's see. Looks like it's already starting its rejection. Wow, just like that, guys. It has been almost 30 minutes. Time goes by so fast when I am trading with you guys. Goes by so fast. Here we go. Looks like it's getting rejected. The whole point of these live streams is to share ideas, talk about criteria, staying patient, staying calculated, create a plan, and if and when those are met, we're not afraid to take action. Not every day is a trading day. Not every day we have to be super aggressive and buy hundreds or thousands of shares. You know, we can buy very small trades and always get back in later. I believe in LUNR. I believe this thing can push up higher. Doesn't have to, but it can. Open up to 8.90. We talked about it hitting $9, even $9.50, and there it goes. It's still pushing, and that's why I have my levels set, right? We have this descending pattern here. It's been showing a descending pattern for quite some time, just like the markets. We had a support level overall around 7 and a resistance around 950, and I mean, it's done a great job by showcasing that here. Yes, it dipped down to 477, then shot right back up to 7s, pushed to 950, came back down to 750, and now pushing back up to 9. So it does pay to make sure you watch the same stocks every day. You're not having to look, over thousands of different stocks or companies to find the one. I simply have, what am I watching right now? I'm watching 22, and if you don't count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have about 18 companies that I watch on a daily basis, and that's just something that I do for my trading style. I can see the lows, I can see the highs, and when it comes opportunity to take advantage, look at this. It bounced above that descending pattern, it validated support above the moving average, and shot up. I mean, this thing moved like crazy today. Just from those 780 levels right here to 897, a 15% profit on open. Beautiful. Overall NASDAQ market only down about 0.5% from yesterday. That is nothing, but I do believe it is getting rejected off of this moving average. We could see some more selling pressure, or this could just be a short-lived resistance, and it could actually push through that resistance if it's strong enough. Doesn't mean it has to, though. If you guys did go long on any of these positions that I talked about today, I would consider locking in profits at these point, as markets can begin to sell off, and everything, it will take everything with it. SQQQ also validating some support here. If the markets sell off, SQQQ can begin to push up even more. So I want you guys to be aware of that. Okay, we are getting a little bit of some resistance. This could potentially reverse very nicely. It may be time to lock in your longs and potentially get into some shorts. Or double down on those lows for that recovery again. Either way, just letting you guys know. With that said, we've been at 33 minutes. I want to see you all do well, all be safe, and know exactly when to take profits and cut your losses, making sure that you're managing your risk. And overall, that's it, right? At the end of the day, we want to make money, but we also want to make sure we don't lose a lot of money. That way we can live to trade another day. Don't blow your account on one single trade. Don't go all in on guessing or just because you think. Make sure you have a plan. Make sure you have criteria and make sure you stick to it. That's how I've been able to stay in the game for so long. I risk 1 to 5% on a trade to get double, triple, quadruple what I'm risking, right? So risk 1% to make 3, 4, 5%. If you risk 5%, well, then you better be looking at making 10, 15, 20% plus on that risk, okay? So appreciate you guys' time. Hope you all have a great weekend, and we will see you on Sunday night for our Sunday night stock talk, as well as our Monday morning live stream where we get to do it all over again. So I wish you guys the best. Have a great day. And if you're still a little confused about maybe certain indicators or maybe certain things that I talked about today, check out the first pinned comment in the comment section. That is our Learn to Earn lesson library. There's about 20 videos, and I think it's about less than 2 hours of watch time. Once you get through all the videos, you will be able to know more and be more confident as well for your trading. You'll also get inside look at my trading style, get to learn a lot of different technical terms and why I use specific indicators like the moving average, the exponential moving average, the RSI indicator, the MACD indicator, level 2 order book, which is only available if you buy it through WEBULL or other brokerages, and as well as learning how to paper trade, set up a WEBULL account if you choose to use it, if you like this. And also you get to watch the very last video shows a live trading session where I locked in over $200 in less than 1 hour of trading. So definitely go over and check that out. And I wish you guys all a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend. Thank you, and you guys have a great day.